Hey, Carolina Tony coming to you today from Charlotte Douglas Airport at the Aviation Museum. Thanks for stopping by my channel. Today we're going to look at some real neat airplanes, and there's an airplane here that there's only one in the world like it, and I'm sure you will enjoy it. But for right now, let's go check some airplanes out. Okay, here is a 1933 Stedman Cadet bi-wing airplane. The amazing thing about air travel is we look at the Wright brothers flyer that only flew about 10 feet above the earth for approximately 150 foot around 1900. Fast forward to 1936, commercial airlines. That is technology moving at light speed. This is the Douglas Dakota, operated by Piedmont Airlines. It was a popular commercial airline company here in the Carolinas. Around 1931, someone got the idea of taking a boat and hooking wings to it with a propeller, and we have the Savoia amphibian. Approximately 91 years after the Wright brothers flight, we have the super Tomcat jet. Capable of speeds at high altitude of 1,544 miles per hour. That is moving on. Planes became relatively inexpensive, such as the Cessna 150. Clean little airplane, but not a whole lot of room. And in this museum, there's only one of a kind in the world. There's a movie about the plane that went down on the Hudson, flown by Captain Sullenberger, and that plane is here in this museum. New York, 2009, it took off and struck a flock of geese. It had to do a crash landing on the Hudson. It's here. And here it is. It's been put back together. You see some of the wreckage. And this was the engine that hit the geese.
Yeah, in that engine. Geese or some kind of bird.
280, can land runway 1 at Teterboro.
We can't do it.
Okay, which runway would you like at Teterboro?
We're going to be in Hudson.
I'm sorry, say again, Cactus? Cactus 1549, radar contact is lost. You also got Newark Airport up at 2 o'clock in about 7 miles. You can fly 4718, turn left thing 210.
210, 4718. I think he said he was going to the Hudson.
There's the engine itself. So they couldn't make it back to the airport, and they had to do a crash landing on the Hudson. But because of the pilot's skills, Everyone was saved. And not very many people ever walk away from an airline crash. And here's a picture of the US Airways flight attendant Doreen Welch. Her and 4 other flight crew helped everyone to safety. And flight engineer Rosemary Lesser. A lot of people do not realize that in the rear of jet airliners there's also an engine. It's called the auxiliary power unit, and here it is here. And they were hoping that that would give enough thrust to get back to the airport, but it didn't. Those engines are mainly used to run the air conditioning and all inside the jet while it's on the taxiway. And this from there is the other side of the jet. And here is the life raft. It's called a slide life raft. Now, both of the jet engines in this plane were hit by the geese. And there's where one was connected right there. Here's the engine itself. And here are some of the artifacts that was on the plane that went down into Hudson. Some of the wine and liquor bottles. Of course, a cart that had drinks on it. And life jackets. And there's oxygen masks that were recovered from the cockpit. There's Captain Sullenberger's hat. The remains of one of the passengers' personal items from a suitcase, as well as there. She's sitting actually row 18 and seat A. And there's Captain Sullenberger, his personal suitcase, and a logbook. And there's one of the culprits. Of course, that's not the real one. I imagine the real one got all chewed up. And there's Captain Sullenberger's uniform with First Officer Jeffrey Skiles. It's his uniform. Okay, this is a Harrier jet. It goes about 648 miles an hour. But one of the neat things about it is it can take off by standing straight up rather than using a runway. Here's a Corsair 2 at 650 miles an hour. You can see how the wings fold up on the end. Makes it easy to stow and get around on an aircraft carrier. Okay, this is a 1962 Seahawk. This plane saw a lot of activity in Vietnam. They would actually parachute out the back of this thing. And see right there is a machine gun sticking out the door. And this is a Douglas Skyhawk. This is the jet coming into Charlotte from the Hudson. And you might ask, why did it wind up here in Charlotte? Because Charlotte is the main hub for US Airlines. Here's some of the damaged parts that have been removed from the wing and some other parts. Some more parts. And there's the life raft itself right there.
Cactus 1529, turn right 280, you land runway 1 at Teterboro.
We can't do it.
Okay, which runway would you like at Teterboro?
We're going to be that.
I'm sorry, say again, Cactus?
In New York, people are stunned to see what appears to be a replay of 9/11.
And this is the cockpit of a Boeing 727. Okay, we're all clear for takeoff. Baby, hold on. It's all the controls, the navigator. Okay, this is, I can't pronounce the name. It's a research airplane. The neat thing about this plane, a while ago when I said that planes were made available to just about anybody, this plane was sold in the men's department in Macy's department store. Okay, you can't get to these jets behind a TSA gate. And I imagine if you go over the fence, they'd jump on you really quick. But this is a Douglas DC-7 along with a private jet and some type of commercial jet back over there. And there's some more over there. And there's a jet waiting to take off right over there. And there's a lot more in line waiting on the tarmac for people to go to all points here and there. And this is called Dash. This is a unmanned drone helicopter they use for exploration, firefighting, surveillance, and there's a remote control for it right there. Well, that about does it. Hope you've enjoyed our trip to the North Carolina Aviation Museum. It's at Charlotte Douglas Airport, so if you're ever in the area, it's definitely worth your time and trouble to stop and see. But for right now, y'all have a good day.